Folks, hello again. Xi Jinping is the most powerful man in the world, and he just became even more powerful with no clear end in sight. As expected, Xi was reappointed for a precedent-breaking third term as head of the party, the first to do that since Chairman Mao. But it's highly likely, depending on his health, it won't stop there. He wants to be leader for life. And to ensure that, he stacked the senior ranks of the Communist Party with loyalists and yes-men, which not only insulates himself from criticism, but sends a warning to anyone who challenges his rule. Take the extraordinary moment on the weekend when his predecessor, Hu Jintao, was escorted out of the party congress against his will. This was a former president who led the nation for 10 years, now treated like an enemy of the state. He reportedly opened up a folder and had written down a few thoughts or recommendations for the new Politburo. But in a made-for-TV moment, President Xi let it be known those suggestions were not appreciated or accepted. Factional rivalries are now out with the trash. Not even former proteges can divert Xi from his plan.
A really worrying signal here is that he's elevated top security officials to political roles that they've never held in the past. I think this is opening the door to more use of Chinese police and secret police in a way that looks much like the KGB under the Soviet Union, using it against his political rivals to further entrench his power.
One new member of the Standing Committee is Zhao Leji, who's head of the party's agency to specifically investigate corruption and disloyalty. And the country's barbaric and nonsensical COVID lockdowns will continue. Those military drones warning people to stay indoors are not going anywhere because Li Kang, the architect of Shanghai's severe COVID lockdown, has been elevated to the new Standing Committee. So Xi Jinping's power is more absolute than ever, and he's given some clues as to where the country is now heading. In a speech, he said the Communist Party of China will not be daunted by high winds, choppy waters, or even dangerous storms, for the people will always have its back and give it confidence, adding, only hardship brings greatness, only arduousness brings greater glory.
She's preparing China for a new stage. It's a departure from the last 20 years of opening and reform. There's going to be more focus on internal reliance for production and supply chain within China, being supplemented by the overseas economy, so more self-sufficiency. And I think the biggest, if anything, the biggest takeaway from this is with that constitutional amendment, it almost writes Xi Jinping into a corner that says, look, I'm going to be responsible for the incorporation of Taiwan back into Greater China. That's a massive concern for the US, for Australia, for the rest of the world.
But internal reliance won't come so easy or even fast if outside forces make things difficult, and a new trade stoush has just opened up. Last week, the US Commerce Department unveiled sweeping regulations which will limit the sale of semiconductors and chip-making equipment to Chinese customers. Now comes the response, and early reports suggest, after the midterms, the Chinese leader may look to reduce supplies of critical minerals to the United States. That includes copper, lithium, nickel, cobalt, and rare earth elements, all needed for the manufacture of electric vehicles, renewable energy, and military technology. Now, the US is already moving to reduce its reliance on China for critical minerals and may even look to Australia to guarantee supply, which opens up many business opportunities here. But what this does is point to a broader trade war, which is far from over. And what of that other war that could happen if China moves on Taiwan? We all know it's Xi Jinping's plan to do it. The question is, when? And by being surrounded with yes-men, has the president got an accurate answer of how that will affect China's future? And what does reunification mean if you're shut off from the rest of the world? History tends to show that doesn't work out so well. Thanks for watching. To support this channel, please like, share and subscribe below. See you next week.